Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Emil, and in this channel I'm mostly talking about investing and investing in the stock market. So if that interests you, consider subscribing. And today's video is an exciting one. I'm going to do a full deep dive into my own personal portfolio. I'm going to go through the everything to do with my positions, so like the gain, the amounts, the percentages, what I bought them at, everything. Uh, yeah, I got a question on one of my videos, and someone asked me if I could share my portfolio. So I decided, yeah, sure, I'll do that, no problem. So this is it. So firstly, I I'm half invested in cryptocurrencies and I'm half invested in stocks. So we're just going to be looking at the stocks today, but I just wanted to make you aware of that. I I'm a young investor. I'm only 24, so I have a long time to be investing. So I'm not too worried about taking some big risks in investing uh, f- for potential huge rewards. So I try to find a nice diverse range of potential big winners, and if a couple of them fail, so be it. So I have a pretty diverse portfolio, I believe. Diverse in the fact that there's a lot of growth companies and a lot of well established companies. With the growth companies, I want to get a good few growth companies that have huge potential, and if a couple of them fail, at least I have a good amount of different ones, and a few will pop and get me great returns. So that's what I'm hoping. And then there's also some classics. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. Okay, first I'll just run through the crypto. I'll probably do crypto videos in the future, but today's video is it's not so interesting maybe. Um, but yeah, I've lost some money. I started investing in cryptocurrencies a few years ago, and I'm down a little bit. Probably the crypto gain amount is pretty inaccurate. Like I just kind of I don't know for sure because I bought very small amounts over a very long period of time, so it's just an estimate. So I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, mostly Bitcoin, a good bit of Ethereum, some Litecoin, and then some alts where I lost like most of my money. So yeah, that's sad face. That's a comment on that. All right, let's get into the stocks as I have here. Okay, so with these stocks, I bought a lot of them when I was just starting out. So some of them mightn't be the best picks ever, or you might be like, "What the hell is he thinking there?" As I've progressed, I've been wiser with my choices, I believe. I'm still up quite nicely in my stocks, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, just to be aware that I've never really I've sold maybe a handful of stocks. I could probably count the amount of stocks that I've sold in one hand, literally. So I just buy and hold. I'm a buy and hold for everything. It's the easiest way, and I don't consider myself an amazing. Like I don't overestimate my abilities in buying and selling. I think buying is hard, selling is even harder to do it well because we don't know what's going to happen. But it's usually stacked in our favor to buy, but selling, you don't know if the stock's going to continue rising, so you don't really know when to sell. So that's just something to be aware of. That a few of these stocks are just when I started out. Activision, I bought that maybe a year or two ago, up about 21%. I'm just going to look at the percentages mostly because I feel like that's the most important thing. And I just did up this portfolio properly a couple of days ago, so these are actually all up a bit because the market's gone up. But anyway, so Activision, and I just had to comment there, probably a buy. I'd be looking at personally. I'm very interested in Activision. I think the gaming industry is only has room to grow. Like it's just really taken over. There's huge potential for gaming. I'm just gonna quickly run through everything. Or cannabis, obviously a huge space potential, big loss, but I invested what $70, so I don't really care if it's a big loss. You can see all my big percentage losses were for smaller investments that I probably shouldn't have taken, but my bigger investments have usually done well, because I've decided to put more time and really researching the companies, and I'm not going to put like hundreds or make a huge part of my portfolio something I don't really know much about. So Apple, I bought Apple during it had a bit of a dip because the iPhone sales weren't doing very well. So that's when I picked up a good few shares and I did very well in them. I was up around 80% at one stage, but the coronavirus brought it down. But yeah, not a huge position either. Amazon, Yeah, can't really go wrong with Amazon. I bought that around the same time, up 40%, so that's a nice gain. Alibaba up 34%. I also have the pie chart here, which I'll show you in a minute. And all my stocks in order of current market cap. Berkshire Hathaway, I'm down. Have this down as a buy. I think this is a nice buy here. Boeing, I literally bought in March when there was the big correction, and it dropped below $100. So I bought it because I didn't think it was gonna keep falling below 100, and I was right. And I made a quick 50% on it. But it's only in one share, so who cares really? Carnival Cruise, yeah, don't tell me about it. Awful time to buy it. I bought it at like $40 and started buying it all the way down to like $15, and then oh well. That I think that's my biggest loss. So yeah, 90 is my biggest loss. So that's not really too bad in my stocks. Up 83% in Cirrus Logic. Disney, I'm very interested in buying more of Disney. I have a video on Disney. I'll link that here for you now. I'll link all these. Hopefully I have a few videos popping up that you can check out for later. EA, again, gaming. Facebook is my second biggest position. Foot Locker I've just started adding recently. I'm very interested in continuing adding. Alright, let's get into the stocks. So I kind of started going through it this way, but I think it'd be actually better if I went from smallest to biggest. If I told you about my stocks from smallest to biggest, and we'll leave the largest to last, and then we can go through my purchasing price and what I've made on it, just for your interest, and what I think about whether I'd buy more or sell them. Okay, Aurora Cannabis, I kind of just, speculative bet. I put in $70 and now it's worth 20, so that's my biggest percentage loss after Carnival Cruise, which is my biggest loss ever. Lost like 100 quid in it, not the end of the world. Wells Fargo, $50 I put in, now it's worth 28, not really a big loss. Foot Locker, actually I just purchased some more Foot Locker now. I'm interested in adding this, it's a nice dividend stock. Uber, definitely interesting stock. Next up, JP Morgan. I think banking seems pretty like a safe industry, and it's also a hedge against my cryptocurrency. Carnival Cruise, we talked about that. I'll make this a bit bigger. Yeah, so the stars here are just like how much I'm interested in them now. So 3 stars being the best, 0 stars being the worst to buy now. Just quickly, like my quick rating. This is a Utilities Vanguard Utilities Index fund. So it's just kind of like, a hedge for recession times. But it hasn't really acted like much of a hedge during this crash, but sure, it's there. EA Sports, big on the future of gaming, and I don't think that's going away anywhere. I'm more interested in Activision actually though, because I believe they have better brands in my opinion, and yeah, there's more going for them. Square is a stock I'm very interested in at the moment. Really cool business model and really cool business all around. I love the CEO, of course, Jack Dorsey. I did a full video, I'll link it up there for you if you're interested. It is a pricey stock though, it's quite overvalued at the moment, but I believe it will grow into the valuation. Boeing, these two I recently bought, Square and Boeing. A lot of these stocks I bought when I didn't really know what I was doing, so you might be surprised with some of the picks, but that was literally when I just started investing, didn't really know what I was doing. I'm just kind of dipping my toes into the market, but I've never really sold any stocks, so I just keep them. I think that's the best strategy. Like, trying to sell stocks is really difficult. Like, trying to buy the stocks is hard enough, but trying to sell them at the correct times is even harder. So I think buy and hold is usually the best strategy. I can count the amount of times I've sold stocks on one hand. I'm not even joking. Boeing, it dropped to $100. I didn't think it was going to go any lower, and this was just like during the March, the local bottom. We don't know if it's the real bottom yet, but it was the local bottom in the market crash. Google, bought that a few years ago, hasn't really done much for me, but yeah, Google owns YouTube, and obviously I'm big on YouTube. VBK is a growth index fund, so it's just tracking growth stocks. Activision we talked about. Disney obviously I'm really bullish on. Video linked up here. Noble is another index fund. It's Dividend Aristocrat index funds. Good index fund, I think, if you're into passive income through dividends. Yeah, so I have about 10% of my portfolio on index funds. I think this should be higher for most people, and probably for myself as well. But I love picking stocks myself. But just as a hedge, in case you're not as good at picking stocks as you believe, which is probably true, you should have some index funds, in my opinion. And just to see your performance against them, it's good to be able to see, like, oh, I'm beating the market. It always feels good. Revolve, I've been purchasing that recently. I think this is a really interesting stock at the moment. It's gone down quite significantly, and it's at a fair valuation at the moment, I believe. Video coming up here as well. 3M, Dividend King, so it's been increasing its dividend for 50 years in a row. Pretty safe company, pretty well diversified across millions of sectors. Nvidia I bought because after the cryptocurrency crash, Nvidia makes a lot of chips for cryptocurrency mining. So after the crash, the Nvidia crash came. Nvidia also crashed after cryptocurrency crashed. So I picked up some Nvidia because I believe in cryptocurrency. I'm doing very well in that. I'll show you my percent gains in a minute. Alibaba, I think this is the best Chinese company that I know of, and some exposure to China. If you don't know what Alibaba does, I'll probably make a video on it. They're a place where manufacturers in the West or businesses in the West can communicate with manufacturers in China and get products created, like thousands of products created, and interact with people. Just a interface for interacting with manufacturers. But they also have AliExpress, which is direct consumer from a manufacturer of Chinese goods. So a lot of potential there. Berkshire, great. Apple, pretty big, but like most of the stocks I buy, I spend around between 1 and 200. So some of them have kind of stayed the same. Kind of these ones haven't really budged, but then some of these have done really, really well, and that's why they're larger parts of my portfolio. Berkshire, Cirrus, this is the S&P 500. Amazon's doing quite well. I bought quite a lot of Amazon now. Shopify is my biggest percent gainer. I'll show you here. Shopify, 300%. So I invested 200 and gain a 600, so it's worth 800 now. So like I sold some Shopify. Obviously I wish I hadn't. I sold it at 400. I sold one share. So that just goes to show, like, just because your stock price doubles doesn't mean you should necessarily sell it. Like now have another share which would be worth, like, this would be worth 1,200. And then Facebook and Tesla, and look, Tesla makes up. Let's see if I zoom out a little bit. This is my pie chart of the stocks. So Tesla makes up 32%, and I learned from my mistake with Shopify. So I invested let's do this by size. As you can see, like for Tesla, I invested pretty much the same that I invested in Facebook. However, I got much more of a percent gain, so that's why it's made up such a large portion of my portfolio now. Originally I wanted Facebook to be my biggest position, but Tesla has become my biggest position. But I didn't make the same mistake I made with Shopify. I didn't sell any of my Tesla stocks when it goes up. I'm just going to buy and hold, and that's usually turns out to be the best strategy. There's two different ways you can look at this. Some people like to say, okay, I want this stock to remain like roughly 10% of my portfolio. I want this stock to be 5% of my portfolio. And if it drops, you buy more. And if it goes up, you sell. And it's rebalancing your portfolio, and it kind of ensures that you buy low and sell high kind of forces you to do that. But the problem with that is, like, there's no way to tell when a stock is worth selling. If it's increasing in price, maybe it's increasing in price for a good reason, and it will continue to increase in price. So there's those two approaches. I'm gonna go with the not trying to be too smart and sell, not trying to outwit the market and think that I'm smarter than I am. I'm just gonna buy and hold. There's an example where, say you bought the S&P 500, the index fund tracker, which like if a company leaves the S&P 500, if it drops below, another company comes into the S&P 500, say this company is not in and this company is in, say they swap. If you're in the S&P 500, you're going to sell this stock and you're going to buy this stock, so you're tracking the S&P 500 properly. Or you can buy those 500 market cap weighted stocks and buy and hold them, and it doesn't matter what happens at the edge. If you just buy and hold them, the ones that have dropped, you're not going to sell them, and they'll come back up, and the ones that you're buying that come up might go back down. So in the long run, the buy and hold strategy actually works better than the S&P 500 index fund. I hope that made some sense. So yeah, Tesla's become a very large portion of my portfolio. You can see I have a lot of like small, very small positions that are kind of, so I have a lot of them, and they're the kind of ones where I'm kind of watching them, and if I research them further, I'll continue adding to them if I like them. So some that have made it to the next step, rather than being 1% to 2%, are ones that are looking to add positions. So like the likes of Disney and Revolve, Activision, 3M, I'm probably happy with that position. Nvidia has just grown into that size. Berkshire I like. Apple has just grown into that size. Cirrus has just grown into that size. And I'll keep this as an index, the S&P 500. Alright, now we'll quickly go over the percent gains. Alright, let's organize this by the biggest losers to the biggest winners. So as you can see, like, my biggest loss was 90. That was a Carnival Cruise. But I haven't lost anything significant, really. Like, all my smaller positions are the ones I'm losing on. So the ones I haven't really researched as well, perhaps. Alright, biggest loss, Aurora Cannabis. Oh, this makes me depressed, but yeah. Let's quickly run through these and then we'll go to the nice ones. Wells Fargo, yeah, fuck that. Revolve, down 15, it's actually up now, I think. But yeah, it's just a very recent position. JP Morgan, these were doing well until this financial crisis. Uber, yeah, looking to add some more shares to that. Berkshire Hathaway also looking to add more shares. Noble's down a bit, which is surprising considering it's kind of supposed to be recession proof, and people should flock to dividend aristocrats. That's what Noble is, index funds of dividend aristocrats. So you'd assume people would flock to that in these kind of times to get the dividend income, but apparently not, so still down a bit. Berkshire's down a little bit. Disney down a little bit. Recent position, 3M's down a little bit. These are probably buys, don't mind that I didn't sort them properly now, so they're out of whack, unfortunately. Foot Locker, I'm looking to add more of that. S&P 500 up 4.5%, so this was like 3 years ago that I bought this, so to only be up 4.5% in the S&P 500 is not great. Yeah, all the index ones are kind of here. Alright, so now onto the winners. Facebook up a little bit. Square's up a little bit. That's a recent position. Facebook, I'll definitely be adding more to. I really like Facebook. Activision, yeah, definitely interested in adding more of that. Alibaba, EA up 40%. Yeah, I didn't even know it was up that much. Okay, nice. Amazon up 40%. Nice. Boeing, I talked about that. Apple, biggest winner, 70%. Nice. Cirrus 83. Nvidia 100, Tesla 200, and Shopify 300. So yeah, I have a gain of 3,700. This was more. I was like up roughly about double up until the stock market crash. but I haven't sold anything in the stock market crash, so I'm still happy enough to be up quite a bit. So that's nice. Okay, so that's a quick look into my entire portfolio. So thanks to Renata Peretta. Let's see if I'm saying your name right. Renata Pereira for asking that question. So if you ever want to have a video suggestion, I'm very likely to do it because I'm such a small YouTube channel. So make sure to comment below with the stock that you might be interested in, or a general question about investing. So thanks a million for watching. Please leave your comments on my portfolio. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing right, or what rated out of 10 for me. And thanks again so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bit of a quick one, but sure. Cool. Thanks again. Bye.